So my throat is a little sore today, so I apologize in advance if I sound a little different in this video. Anyway, to the news update at hand. To solve any problem, one has to begin by acknowledging that there is a problem in the first place, right? Now, the gaming community has already adamantly expressed that loot boxes of any kind in video games are in fact very problematic. Few will disagree that they're a hazard for not just the integrity of the games that we play and the medium as a whole, but also for the people with addictive tendencies. And right now, there is no system in place to mitigate the harm that these kinds of predatory practices can cause to people's mental health and livelihoods. It's pretty much open season when it comes to these glorified gambling systems in our games, with no oversight to prevent game publishers from pushing the boundaries too far and implementing such systems in the most underhanded, manipulative, and exploitative ways possible. While just about everyone agrees with the notion that games and people would be better off without loot boxes, major organizations in the gaming industry who stand to benefit from the exploitation of their players claim otherwise. We have heard the likes of EA say on the record that they don't believe loot boxes are gambling, and both the ESA and the ESRB, which publishers like EA Lobby, have expressed similar sentiments. Now, a few days ago, a US senator from New Hampshire, Senator Maggie Hassan, sent a letter to the ESRB urging them to review their rating system in light of recent concerns regarding the harmful nature of loot boxes and to develop the best and most ethical practices concerning this matter. The ESRB's response to the letter was non-committal and boilerplate, to say the least, basically stating that they're listening to feedback and that they'll look into it. Not once in their response did they acknowledge that loot boxes are in fact harmful, instead resorting to providing vague solutions like providing additional tools and continuing to keep parents informed without extrapolating on how they plan to do so. The rating board's parent company, the ESA, also issued a response to the recent escalation of the issue, but their response couldn't reek more of bullshit if they tried. They talked about how they take their responsibility to their consumers seriously and continually work to create awareness and be transparent. They also had the audacity to say that the ESA has demonstrated a commitment in providing information to guide consumers in their purchase decisions, when in reality they've done the complete opposite by declaring that loot boxes aren't gambling and dismissing their potential harmful nature. So yeah, to put it bluntly, publishers like EA and organizations representing the gaming industry like the ESA and the ESRB are all full of shit. It's lies and hypocrisy at its finest. Just to prove the extent to which their hypocrisy stretches, here's some interesting information provided by Hawaii State Representative Chris Lee, who's been leading the charge in the battle against loot boxes in America. In an interview with GameSpot, he began by expressing his simple belief of standing up for what's right, stating, quote, "We have to try and stand up for what is right. I think it is inevitable that, whether it was spurred by Battlefront or some of the recent big title games just being so ridiculously exploitative of the player base, there is enough of generational transition in politics and positions of authority around the country and the world that you have people who understand what the industry is doing and are willing to stand up and take action and do something about it. Inevitably, the industry will have to change because more and more jurisdictions are going to start protecting their citizens from the kinds of exploitative and predatory practices that the industry has been employing lately. Inevitably, that means a better industry for everybody and better games for everybody." But the most interesting bit is what he had to say about the ESA's and the gaming industry's behind-the-scenes response to recent developments and push from the government. According to Chris Lee, quote, "There are ESA lobbyists roaming the halls of the state capitol here as we speak who have been flown out to try and stop any sort of conversation about these issues from happening." That's right, folks, these organizations who claim that they're working towards being more transparent and keeping their consumers informed about their purchases are going out of their way to subdue conversation on the issue. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the true face of the likes of the ESA, the ESRB, and publishers like EA. Ultimately, they aren't thinking about the effect that their actions or complacency might be having on the medium that they represent and the consumers they have a responsibility towards. They are thinking about how much money they might not be able to make should loot boxes be further stigmatized and eventually regulated. They aren't even willing to allow the conversation to happen or even make a case for themselves. They are just trying to dismiss concerns and shut down conversation. So yeah, next time the ESA or the ESRB tries to sell you on the idea that they actually give a damn about their consumers, well, just remember how hard they're working towards ensuring that the loot box conversation dies down. That's it for this news update. Thank you for tuning in. In my next video, I'll be talking about Chris Lee's latest video showing a Q&A that he did with representatives of the ESA, where the ESA struggled to even make the simplest of justifications for the implementation of harmful loot boxes. So look forward to that. If you enjoy my content, consider supporting me on Patreon. It is completely optional, but donating even as little as $1 a month will go a long way in helping this channel grow. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Yong Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Yong out.